Joining our discussion now is Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He's a candidate for the United States Senate in California. He's the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. He served in the January 6th committee and was the lead impeachment manager for the first impeachment trial of Donald Trump in the Senate. Congressman Schiff, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know you only get 5 minutes to speak in the committee. And as I was listening to you today, I just thought, well, tonight we can offer you more. Did you leave anything unsaid in your 5 minutes this morning?
Well, I was mostly focused on this conspiracy theory that somehow the president, through the Justice Department, was pulling the strings in the Manhattan DA's office. I would have, if I had more time, gone into the other conspiracy theory, in many ways equally, if not more sinister, about the search at Mar-a-Lago, the suggestion that basically the FBI went in there with the hope or expectation of drawing guns on the president. That is so dangerous, wrong, and I would have used a little more time to debunk that. But, you know, my takeaway, Lawrence, candidly, as I watched this spectacle on the GOP side, is in the beginning of the Trump years, there were a few people in Congress in the GOP who stood up to him in some way, shape, or form. They are all going or gone. And all we are left with are the stooges and sycophants. And that's all you really saw in the committee today. People for whom there is no bottom, there is no level below which they will not sink to defend Donald Trump, which just underscores again why we cannot allow that convicted felon in the Oval Office, because there will be no restraint on him by any of his own party in that kind of a racketeering administration or in Congress.
Yeah, I was thinking today, I listened to every single bit of the testimony, and there wasn't a single truthful Republican on that committee. And that was something that you just couldn't say about any committee in the House or the Senate before the Trump era. You couldn't say it about either party before the Trump era. It just wasn't the way it was. And is it your sense that when we're past the Trump era, which could be as early as next year, that some possibility of normalcy could return, or are these people too far gone?
No, I'm actually quite optimistic about the future. I think when Donald Trump leaves the stage for good, and I hope and pray it's in November, I think the Republican Party decides to move on, that they lost with him over and over and over again. And if not for the sake of our country, then for the sake of their own party, they need to move on. There will be others who try to be Trump imitators for some time, but I don't think they'll have his gift at Grift. He is a uniquely talented arsonist. Others tried. You saw Ron DeSantis try in the presidential campaign and fall flat on his face. There'll be others still who try. But I do think the temperature comes way down, and I think it is only a matter of time before the Republican Party once again returns to a kind of conservative party, a party with a home for Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, a party that would have been a home for Mitt Romney and John McCain. I look forward to those days. We need two healthy political parties, and I think we'll get there, but not before we go through this dark passage from now until November.
Congressman Adam Schiff, on his way to being Senator Schiff, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.